and welcome to the Excel Woman TV show, where we equip, empower, and encourage women for success in business and life. My name is Tobi. Today, I'm interviewing an excelling lady. She's been voted as one of Britain's top 100 most entrepreneurial women by the Real Business magazine. She's been in business for 25 years and has received an investiture from the Queen herself. She's a CEO and a co-director of her own organization, PJ's Community Service. Claudine Reid, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited, so honored to have you here. I can't contain it. I really do admire you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today.
Okay. I'm excited about two questions. I'm going to take one first. An investiture from the Queen herself.
Yes.
That alone makes me feel giddy. I want one of those. Tell me about that.
It was back in 2008.
Okay.
I was doing quite a significant amount of work with the Department for Trade and Industry. I was advising local government on ethnic minority business issues. I was working as a social enterprise ambassador for the Cabinet Office. And then one day I received a letter to my office.
Just like that?
Just like that, I received a letter to my office, and at first I thought it was a joke because it comes from the Prime Minister's office, and he had said that my name has been nominated to the Queen, and I thought, no, this is a joke. And then they said, you're not permitted to speak about it for 6 months. So I thought, well, this is definitely a joke, until maybe 2 or 3 months later, I received the actual invitation to go to Buckingham Palace, and it was just such a high honour because I received the honour for services to social enterprise, which is a business model, which is the model of my business.
Yes.
But I was working, I was doing something that I enjoy. So to see somebody view my work in that way and decide that, you know, I needed to be made a member of the British Empire and to receive the investiture, it really was quite an honouring experience.
As in, I'm trying to imagine that. As in, that's amazing. You know, that's amazing. That's a great, great honor and a great place to be. And I'm still interested in that. So how was it? How did you feel meeting the Queen? So we've talked about the way you felt about receiving the investiture. What about meeting the Queen? How was that?
Well, interestingly, Toby, that year I had been to Buckingham Palace about 3 times.
Now she's just showing. No, she never shows off. It's like 3. Toby, you see, I've met the Queen 3 times, so it really wasn't a big deal.
No, it was. It was a big deal. But on the actual day, it was Prince Charles. So because I had met the Queen twice that year.
Okay, now, not only has she met the Queen, she's met Prince Charles as well. Can I come home with you, please? I really want to come home with you, please.
So on the actual day, it was Prince Charles. So because I'd met the Queen before, it was almost like, you know, just meeting the rest of the family. It was a really great experience.
Meeting the rest of the family.
I was able to bring my husband, my children, my mum, just to come and just partake and share in that moment.
Yes, I did see some lovely pictures. I did see them. That's amazing. That's amazing. I don't think I personally, and you know, the women who are watching out there who are inspired by your story, can ask enough questions about that. So I'm going to move on gracefully, but I'll come back to that again. Okay. So tell me, you know, you've achieved this really, you know, high honor, and from the Queen of England, you know, and I know that you've been in business for 25 years, a successful business. You mentor, coach, you know, others. Tell me, what was the journey? Give us a glimpse into, you know, your track. How did you get here today? Well, we can, you know, we're celebrating you, asking you questions. You've been celebrated by the Queen of England herself. How did you get here?
Interesting question, Toby. Very, very interesting.
Yes.
It really probably started, I was doing a business degree, part of my business degree in Europe.
Okay.
And I remember coming back from Europe and I said to my friend, as part of my degree, I needed to work for a year. Okay. But because I was away, I didn't have enough time to find a job opportunity. So I said to him, find me a job. He said to me, don't worry, go and work for my brother. So I said, okay, that's great. I started working for my friend's brother.
Her friend's brother?
My friend's brother proposed to me.
I've heard that before.
And 25 years later, we're still running the business, still very happily married. The business has grown immensely. We've expanded the business into lots of different areas. So that's really how the story started. So Patrick, he actually started the business in 1992. Wow. I joined the company in 1995. and we're still here today by the grace of God.
Thank God, thank God. That's amazing. Go work for my friend's brother. Any single ladies out there? If someone tells you, go work for my friend's brother, please do. Please do. Just kidding, just kidding. I really like that in terms of like, you know, you and your husband work together as a couple. You know, a lot of people would like to do that. It's not always the, you know, a model, but it's amazing. And not only do you both work together, but you've been doing that together, doing life together, business, family for 25 years. There's a lot to be admired that you're doing, not just in business, but in life. Thank you so much for that. You know, and one of the things that I admire about you is that I believe that you are an inspiration. You have laid the tracks, and you're also willing to share because you mentor and coach others. So thank you so much for that. It's amazing. But I do know that from reading, from learning myself, I do know that when we read of success stories, these people, it takes certain attributes, certain skills maybe to reach that level of success, whatever success might be for each and every one of us. What would you say are your top three success secrets to being awarded, you know, receiving an investiture from the Queen, being in business for 25 years and succeeding in marriage and in life and, you know, and in business?
Yeah. I think there's a multitude of things, and I don't know if I could boil it down to three. So I'm just going to give you them as they come. Yes. I think one of the most important things is personal discipline. So, you know, to your viewers and to lots of women, they know. I've observed that people often know the thing to do, but they don't often do it. Okay. So if you're speaking to people and they'll say, oh, I know, I've heard this before. Okay. But that's not really the real question. The real question is, if you know, then why aren't you doing it? So people frequently don't do it, but it's because of lack of discipline. Okay. So they know the action to take, and it's very easy to say take action, but it's the discipline to take the action. Yeah. So I'd say you asked the question, what was my top secret to arriving at this place? It's got to be having a laser-focused discipline, number one. Number two, consistency. Do small things every day. Okay. It's almost like going to the gym and people are like, right, that's it, I'm going to the gym and I'm going to do a 4-hour workout. A 4-hour workout really doesn't help. No. It's 5 30-minute workouts throughout the week that is really going to help build on that level of consistency. And the last one I'd say is get around people of vision. Okay. So it's important for you to have your own vision. But it's also important to be around other people with vision. You know, my favourite book says iron sharpens iron. Yes. And as you're around other people with vision, it takes your conversation up a level. You begin talking about different things, you begin thinking about different things, and as you have those conversations, your capacity to do more expands. Your capacity to see more expands. And as your capacity to see more expands and you become exposed to bigger, better, brighter, you become attracted to those things. And I think that's the level of ambition that we want for women to be able to strive for.
I'm just sucking it all in. But, you know, that's amazing. That your last point on, you know, being around people of vision reminds me of a story in my favorite book as well that talks about God telling Abraham to go out and look at the stars because you need to be able to see. You need to be able to see with your spiritual eyes and your physical eyes, and then write the vision and make it plain. And I like the way you said it actually increases your capacity. And not that we do not have that inside of us, but sometimes we do not know that we have that. But when you see that and you hear that, and that's what you're around, then it enables you to go up that level. Absolutely. And that, you know, and yes, going to the gym, you know. We won't go into that conversation, but consistency in all things. And the points that you've raised are not just for business, they are for life. Absolutely. You know, they are for life. They're things that we need to do daily, and having laser focused discipline. As you say, sometimes we know the things to do, you know, we know we should eat the right foods and exercise daily. One day my mom said, oh, so Tobi, do you do 30 minutes of exercise daily? Because I heard that's really important for good health now. I was laughing because she's over 70. I thought, what's she been listening to? So yes, but laser focus, discipline, you know, consistency, and also being around people of vision in order to increase our capacity, and so we can get higher and higher and higher. I always say, as long as we're here on this God's earth, we're still living on purpose. Good. And another question that I would like to ask you is, you know, as you've gone through life, as you've gone through business, so those are your success secrets, but would you say there's one thing that has helped you through? So obstacles, challenges, in business especially, in life, is there something that, or more than one thing that has helped you to stay on course? I want to, I'm delivering this project, social enterprise, for example, or was that new when you started? Were you a pioneer in that industry? What is that one thing, or what are those things that have helped you to overcome obstacles and challenges along the way?
I don't think I could boil it down to one thing, because we're talking about very many years of business.
Yes.
And I think,
25 years.
Yeah, the thing that kept me in year one is not the thing that keeps me in year 15, 16, 17, because so much has changed.
That's amazing. I just want to, so basically, what you know this year might not necessarily be what would work for you the next year. So that actually shows continuous growth as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
It demonstrates the evolution of your mindset. So I think there are some key fundamentals that haven't changed.
Yes.
So in terms of my faith and my unwavering belief in God, my unwavering belief that I can do all things through Christ. It's not just something that we read in the scriptures. No. It's something that we have to be able to apply. Yes. So every time we come up against a problem, if the first thing that we remember is I can do all things through Christ, then it takes us to a different level of our thought process. Then how do I need to think my way out of this situation? What do I need? Do I need a resource? Do I need people? Do I need a platform? Do I need to be in a certain place in order to get me there? But the thing that has really been quite strong that my faith has been enveloped around is vision. Without vision, people perish. Yes. So if you're facing a challenge, the focus shouldn't be the challenge. The focus should always be the vision. Why am I doing this? What's the purpose or the ultimate goal for the reason why I'm doing this? If we focus on the challenge, then right here, oh my gosh, it's all gone wrong, that's it, let's pack up and go home. Versus, this is the challenge, however, if I'm building for legacy, if I'm building for a brighter tomorrow, if I'm building to decrease poverty, if I'm building to add value to the next generation, then that's the thing that I see as opposed to the challenge. If I see the vision, then I'm solution focused. If I see the challenge all the time, then we're finished.
No, that's amazing, because even before you mentioned your last one, as you talked about, at the beginning, that knowing that I can do all things through Christ. So once you know that I can do all things through Christ, that's sorted. I'm now looking for, since I can do all things, what are the all things that I need to do, was what I heard you say. Right. And that's like, what is the solution? Absolutely. So being solution-minded, not focusing on the problem. Absolutely. And also, I love what you said about the vision, which is the focus, which is the goal. So, sometimes the obstacle, is that big. Even if you have to imagine the vision or the focus, or you can't seem to see it, but you have to keep your mind on that in order to be able to, as they say, go through, go under, go around, but get to where we want to go.
But I guess the interesting thing is that everybody doesn't have that level of discipline and consistency, because they'll be put off by the fact that there is a challenge or a situation ahead of them, which is why it's good to be around people of vision. Because if there is a challenge, in your weakest, darkest moment, you've got people to help lift you up.
That's amazing, because as you talked about being focused on the solution, I thought when I mentioned if there's an obstacle, there's a challenge that you can't even see at that time. But when we can't see, because you are innate, as I say, but people around you can still see, so they can help you. So that's the importance of being around people of vision, as you mentioned in your. So it all just ties together. It's amazing. Claudine, I'm so excited to have had this opportunity to speak to you myself. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope that you feel the same way. And it's just been amazing having Claudine here, because she's received the highest honor here in the UK, and it's something that a lot of women would aspire and dream about, and she's been able to share her secrets with us today. So I hope you have a pen and paper. I'm going to be listening to this later and, taking my notes. And just before we go, is there something, is there one fundamental thing, one key thing that you want to leave with our audience today? Because I believe there are a lot of women looking at you now and thinking, I would love to go for my dreams, my goals and aspirations. I would love to receive an investiture from the Queen, but where do I start from? How can I get there? It looks so far away. What's that one thing, or those few points that you can leave with our viewers that will help them to follow the tracks that I mentioned at the beginning that you've laid down for us?
Okay. I think one of the important things is really to be focused on where you see yourself 5, 10, 15 years from now. The focus isn't necessarily the prize from others, but the focus is more about what learning this does for yourself. The focus is more about what this means for your family, for your community, for those people who are watching you. But if that's the case, what I'd encourage all of the viewers to do is to try and minimize the sound of self-sabotaging thoughts. Self-sabotaging thoughts are those voices that tell you that you can't, that tell you that you don't fit the bill, that tell you that you don't have the right level of education, that tell you that you don't have enough money, that tell you that you cannot for whatever reason. What I'd like you to do is try and minimize those voices and listen to the voice that tells you that you can. Listen to the voice that tells you that you can do all things. Listen to the voice that tells you you were made beautiful, that you can, all you need to do is take another step and another step and another step. And as you take those steps, it helps to boost your confidence. As you take those steps, you become more bolder, you get wiser, you learn from the experience. And as you put all of those things together, you begin to recognize that it wasn't so hard and that it's not impossible. And all you need to do is keep on taking another step and another step and another step. As you take those steps, it exercises the muscles of your mind. Your thinking becomes sharper, your focus becomes much more clearer. And as you're able to sharpen the focus of your thinking, you begin to see that you can do more things. As you can do more things, kings begin to come to you because they're drawn to the brightness of your rising. And as kings are drawn to you, they come bearing gifts. And I'm talking about this from a business perspective. As your colleagues and perhaps those people who are observing you in life, in business or in ministry or whatever you might be involved in, they're watching the results of your work. And if you produce good fruit, then they're going to want some of your fruit. And if you don't produce good fruit, of course, they're not going to want to partake in what you're giving off. So think about it, and I hope to see you on the other side.
Thank you so much, Claudine. Listen to the voice of God that tells you you can do all things and keep moving forward. If you've been impacted by today's episode, please drop a comment on our social media handles, @ExcelWoman with Tobi on Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter, @ExcelWomanTV, or email us, hello@excelwoman.tv. God bless you and see you again soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you.